Cami Bainey, CEO of Viv.
Hi there, I'm Kevin Manley, CTO of Viv.
And we're excited to talk to you a little bit today, a little bit more about AutoPilot. But first, we want to tell you how Viv came together. It's kind of a cool story. So we've known each other, what, five, 6 months
now, yeah.
Yeah, and this
feels like longer.
It does. It really does. I think a lot of that is because we share a lot of the same philosophies, and honestly, it's a lot of fun working together with people. So between Kevin and Rob and myself, we all share a lot of the same goals for this company. So it's been fun. So let's tell them a little bit about how we met. I think that's a good idea. So there's Kevin's nervous, so we're going to just ignore that and keep going right now. So in any case, sometimes there's this weird phenomenon where people think of the same idea at the same time, right? It's why you get like Bug's Life and that other Ant movie that came out at the same time, or like 3 movies about superheroes out at the same time. So
Cammy likes to say that we thought of it at the same time, but actually I thought of it first.
Maybe. It's probably true. But anyway, so we'll tell you a little bit about our story. So I've been in the energy industry for about 8 years. And your background, tell them a little bit about your background.
My background is really hedge funds, banking, finance, and software development.
And so we've both had kind of an observation about pain points in the energy industry from different angles. So really I experienced within 8 years of this energy deregulation or energy choice, I love the idea that consumers can have choice, but I also found it really frustrating that that choice didn't always end up being a good thing for a customer if they weren't really watching all their renewal dates and switch dates and their terms. And that's hard. It's hard to build a company around something that isn't really delivering to the customer what it should.
Personally, I found it frustrating as a consumer, a homeowner in Connecticut, not really knowing how to go about switching my electricity, and then once I had done it, realizing I didn't actually save any money because I wasn't tracking it closely enough, and I ended up on a higher rate than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's one of the reasons consumers are frustrated in this industry. You see, whether it's bad press or a number of different things, consumers are frustrated, and yet there's still this huge opportunity for customers.
It's just a little too hard for people to do, I think, on their end. There's a lot of weird rules about how you switch. There are early termination fees. There's a lot of differences in the kinds of contracts that you can get. There's fixed rates, different terms, variable rates. So I think there's definitely a space here for an advisor to help people through this.
Yeah, and that's why I think that what we're looking at, 70% of people on average and as high as 85% of people in some states that have never even switched, because it's a hassle and it's hard. Well, from a business perspective, I saw a huge opportunity there. I thought, what if we could create a service that actually made it easy? What if we could create a service that could actually guarantee savings? If we can't save customers money, we would switch them back to the utility, and if we could, we would switch them, we'd find the right plan, something that has existed in some regard for commercial businesses for a long time, but never for residential customers. So that was kind of the first catalyst of my dreaming or what if stage, writing a business plan, thinking I want to go out and create this.
Yeah, for myself, I really just wanted to be able to pay a few dollars a month and know that it was being taken care of and know that it was going to be done right and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, and so this is where these stories kind of converge. So it was about 6 months ago or so that I wrote a business plan and started raising capital to be able to bring a service like this to market, and started looking for how I was going to build that, where I was going to look to find the right engineers, the right programmers that shared a passion for the industry. I knew that would be a tall order, but how am I going to find a way to build this technology?
Yeah, and I guess it was last summer, or the end of the summer, I had this business called Utilize that was doing this kind of auto switching for hundreds of people. I guess we had about 12 or 13 million kilowatt hours a year under management. And people really liked it, but it was still a small business. Yeah. And I had developed it myself as a sort of lone engineer, and I was looking for how to get it to the next level.
And so I reached out to you first on LinkedIn, I believe, and it was kind of a couple of weeks of not quite knowing. Like,
I ignored you a couple times.
He did ignore me.
I was like, who's this Cammy lady?
And I thought, gosh, I don't know where this company's at. I don't know if it's going to be a good fit, but maybe we'll see if there's some interest in maybe some partnerships, or if worst case scenario, I can learn a little bit from him. So we did finally meet.
Well, actually, we had a nice phone call first.
Yeah.
We had a really long phone call. I think the first one, and I remember being struck by just the fact that you were not really cagey. You were actually pretty open about what you were,
what I was trying to do.
Yeah, what you were looking for. And I remember, I think actually I was a bit cagey, and I ended up writing you an email afterwards explaining like why I was acting that way.
He was definitely cagey. So as it worked out, you had two business people that had kind of this classic synergy. The word synergy is in its classic definition when you've got two things that come together with really very little waste, right? So we had a classic synergy in the sense that I loved the energy industry. I loved the idea of helping people find a way to be more renewable, more responsible, but it had to be better. It had to be better than what had existed. It had to be something that was going to help the 70 or 80% of people that hadn't switched finally make that choice. And I knew how to scale that. I knew how to create a great business. I knew how to create a great brand, but I needed the technology. And then you...
Yeah, I think I had the technology side buttoned up, and the relationships with suppliers, the relationships with the different regulators. We always really emphasized excellent customer service, and I was just looking for how to bring more people into it, how to let more people benefit from the platform.
Yeah. So it was perfect. You had a great technology, customer-centric solution looking for scale, and you had a great business plan, capital, looking for technology. So the pieces really came together, and it moved really quickly after that. As a kind of added benefit, I would say, we found out we live about 10 minutes from each other, similar age kids, similar interests, tons of common philosophies, and most importantly from my perspective, I love that you share so many of the philosophies I have about building a great sustainable business. You know, being customer centric. I mean, your values from a business perspective really aligned with mine.
I think one of the things that we share that's really important, and this comes from my background working at Bridgewater, which is known for its really radical open culture, is that you share that kind of really open and transparent way of working.
Yeah.
And that's how we're able to make decisions fast and get things done.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had to have all the right pieces come together, right? And so when we found, and selected our third partner with Robert McFadden, the pieces really came together, and the three of us gelled so nicely. You've got a team that is fiercely committed to being customer-centric. We believe in transparency, not just to our customers, but to our employees. We have a very collaborative environment, a team that works together. We all know what's going on at all times. That's important to us because we know that's the way to build a great business. And then we've got the dynamics and the energy of creating a network that Rob brings that we just, couldn't be more excited to work together as a team.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know Rob before I met you, but I'm really excited to be working with Rob. He's a super important person in this space, a real professional, and I know that he's going to be able to build this network into something great.
So here's the thing. We want to share, I guess just as we close here, our vision for where we think this thing can go. And there's a lot of things you can say that are really hyperbolic if you're creating a new business, right? But I can say without hyperbole that I firmly believe that what we're doing right now will be disruptive in a really great way, and we're poised to really change this industry. You've got a market prime for innovation like this. So here's an interesting little factoid for you. We're about 20 years in, about 2 decades in to energy deregulation in several of our core markets. And yet we're still sitting at switch rates around 30% or lower in some markets. So if you look at almost any other industry on that adoption curve, going from that early adopters, 20-30% that have switched, to mainstream, it's going to require some innovation. And sometimes innovation is as simple as how do we make this easier for the customer? And that's what we've done. And I firmly believe we can have millions of customers on this platform as a result.
The reason that's true is not just because we're providing a big benefit for consumers, it's also because we're going to provide a big benefit for the suppliers. Because if you look at the model that they're working on now, it's really this kind of bait and switch model where they put out these low teaser rates and then bring people in and then hope that they go to sleep so they can raise their rates. What we're proposing to do is to be able to bring in bulk thousands of customers at a rate that's below the utility, but that's still sustainable for the supplier. If we can get to that point, it's going to be a synergy between the consumer and the supplier as well, where they don't have to do bait and switch anymore. And we can really fulfill this promise of deregulated energy and choice.
I love that, and it touches on something I believe so strongly in, which is this concept of interdependence. And I think you can't have a great idea in any industry with one kind of segment or one stakeholder losing out. And so the reason this idea works so well is it's good for consumers, it's great for our consultants that are selling the product and can be the heroes and the advocates for their customers, and it's great for suppliers. We're tangibly lowering costs. We're bringing clean enrollments. We're not taking an acquisition fee. We're working on behalf of our customer. And all of those things actually tangibly lower costs, making it so that suppliers are excited to be on our platform. And the responses we're getting from regulators are fantastic. So when all those pieces come together in a holistic ecosystem, you know you've got a winning plan.
The other big thing is if we're bringing a large block of customers to a supplier, we're controlling that enrollment, and we can tell the supplier, look, these people are going to be with you for the whole term. Normally, a supplier is going to lose 30-40% of their customers over the course of a year. When we are controlling the enrollment and we know we're locking in a good price, there's no reason to move people away.
So guys, if you watched to the end of this whole video, thank you very much. We both really appreciate it. We look forward to working with you for many, many years. And I think we should leave them with a challenge. Do you think we should leave them with a challenge?
Sure. All
right, so we are right now, I don't want to date this video, but it's okay if you're watching it in the future. When this was filmed, we are in pre-launch. And that's a really important thing to think about. Think about this product for a minute and the power we have to truly not only help your customers, your friends, and your family, but actually disrupt an industry. Take the 30% of switchers and move that needle to 80%, 90%, 100% of people switching. You're talking about a market with 50 million homes and businesses available. So during pre-launch, we're also going out there talking to suppliers, creating a good opportunity for your customers. We want to show this industry who we are from the get-go. So we challenge you during this time where you're just pre-enrolling customers to reach as many people as you can. Go wide with your network, go wide with your reach, cast a huge net, and let's bring as many people as we can onto this platform. That's gonna help us get great rates for your customers. That's gonna help us establish our relationships with our suppliers. And as we scale, we're gonna only be better and offer a better service to your customers. So take advantage of this pre-launch. What else do you want to challenge them with? Any other words of wisdom?
No, it's exactly like you said. This business actually gets better as we grow because it's a better opportunity for the suppliers. It's a better opportunity for us to negotiate better pricing. So I think it's going to cause this kind of snowball effect as we grow.
Awesome. We will take care of your customers. You bring them to us, we're going to take care of them, we're going to build a great business together, and every single one of those customers contributes to our One at a Time initiative. 1% of all revenue to projects around the world to help people thrive. Thanks for hanging with us today. We'll see you on another video.